Jenny thought the hard part was finally over. The confession. The kiss. His reaction. She'd finally passed all the challenges. Now she could be with the man she'd secretly loved for the past 3 years, express her raw, unfiltered feelings for him without holding back. This Singapore trip together was supposed to be that getaway disguised as a business deal. Her excuse to fall into his arms without a single care for the watchful eyes of his world. But loving Park Jae-hyun meant discovering parts of his world she'd never seen. Like the beautiful woman who called his phone at midnight, who knew details about his schedule Jenny didn't, who had access to the side of his business that remained shadowed even from her. Or the unexpected visit from a stunning woman who looked exactly like him, sitting in his hotel suite just 24 hours into their Singapore trip, examining Jenny like a specimen under glass. "So you're the one who's distracted my brother," Park Ji-woo said, voice cold as winter. "We need to talk. Alone." 1 week earlier, everything seemed possible. Because falling in love with Park Jae-hyun was her fantasy, becoming reality. But actually being in love with him? That was something different entirely. One was a dream built on Thursday evening conversations and thoughtful gifts. The other was reality. Business calls at midnight, family interventions, and discovering that the man she loved had parts of himself he'd never shown anyone. Welcome to Afro-Korean Love Stories. Here we give you the best of both worlds, Korean and African hot spicy romance. I hope you enjoy it. An unexpected event revealed Jenny's secret feelings for her Korean Mafia boss, Park Jae-hyun, but as fate would have it, that was the beginning of their beautiful love story. Or so we thought. Stick around to find out more. Also, let me know in the comments which city you're watching from. I'm curious to know. Now, let's dive into what happens next in Jenny's love story. 7 days after that life-changing kiss, Jenny woke up at 3 a.m. to find Jae-hyun's side of the bed empty. This was the 4th time this week. She found him standing by the penthouse windows, Seoul's lights spreading beneath him, tension radiating from every line of his body. "Can't sleep?" she asked softly. He didn't turn around. "Go back to bed, Jenny. Not until you tell me what's wrong." "Nothing's wrong. Your shoulders are up by your ears and you're gripping that whiskey glass like you want to shatter it. Try again." Jae-hyun's laugh was humorless. "You're getting good at reading me. 3 years of practice." She moved closer, wrapping her arms around him from behind. "Talk to me." For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, quietly, "I had the dream again. About my father." Jenny's chest tightened. He'd mentioned his father once in passing. Said he died when Jae-hyun was 17. Never elaborated. "What happens in the dream?" "He's teaching me a lesson. About strength. Leadership. What it takes to survive in this world." His voice went flat, emotionless. "I was 8 years old, and he made me watch him beat a man half to death. Told me to remember that mercy is weakness." God. Jae-hyun. "That's who I am, Jenny. That's what I come from. A man raised to see violence as strength, fear as respect." He finally turned to face her. "Are you sure you want this? Want me?" She'd lost count of how many times he'd asked that question this week. "Stop asking me that. I need to know you understand what you're getting into." "I understand perfectly." Jenny cupped his face in both hands. "You're the man who quotes poetry and collects art, who sends me books because I mentioned them once, who's terrified of letting people in but let me in anyway. Yes, you've done terrible things. Yes, your world is dangerous. But you're also mine, and I'm not going anywhere." Something shifted in his expression, vulnerable and raw. "I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway." He kissed her then, deep and desperate, and Jenny felt the shift between them. This wasn't just attraction anymore. This was real, complicated, terrifying, perfect. When morning came, they packed for Singapore in comfortable chaos. Well, Jenny packed. Jae-hyun made phone calls and periodically told her she was overthinking her outfit choices. It's 3 days, not 3 months, he said, watching her debate between two dresses for the fourth time. What if we go somewhere fancy and I'm underdressed? Then I'll buy you something there. You can't just throw money at every problem. Watch me. She threw a shoe at him. He caught it, smirking. This was new. The playfulness, the easy banter, the domestic simplicity of packing together. Jenny had spent 3 years imagining what being with him would feel like. Reality was better, until his phone rang for the third time that morning. Same name, Minji. You're popular today, Jenny said, trying to keep her tone light. Jae-hyun silenced the call. Logistics issue. She handles the shipping operations. It can wait. She calls a lot. She's thorough. I'm sure she is. Jenny focused on folding clothes, ignoring the small twist in her stomach, because she knew how this looked. Young woman, important role, access to parts of his business Jenny didn't see. Does she know about us? Everyone knows about us by now. He crossed to her, tilting her chin up. I'm not exactly subtle when I'm happy. And Jenny, before you spiral, Minji is 43, married, and thinks of me like a son. Her face heated. I wasn't. You could have mentioned that earlier. Where's the fun in that? He kissed her flushed cheek. Besides, I like knowing you're territorial about me. I'm not territorial. You're adorable when you lie. I hate you. No, you don't. He pulled her closer, voice dropping. Now finish packing so we can start our adventure. 3 days in Singapore. Just us. No interruptions. No soul watching every move. Just you and me figuring out how this works. How this works. Like they were a science experiment instead of a relationship. Maybe they were both learning. The flight to Singapore was surreal. First class. Champagne. Jae-hyun holding her hand during takeoff because he'd somehow noticed she hated flying even though she'd never mentioned it. How did you know? She asked. You grip the armrest during turbulence. Your breathing changes. He squeezed her hand. I pay attention. 3 years. He'd been paying attention for 3 years. They landed in Singapore at sunset, the city glittering with possibility. Jae-hyun had booked a suite at Marina Bay Sands, the kind of room Jenny had only seen in travel magazines. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the waterfront. A view that probably cost more than her yearly salary used to be. This is insane, she breathed. This is Singapore. Jae-hyun wrapped his arms around her waist from behind. And for the next 3 days, it's ours. Ours. Such a simple word, carrying so much weight. Jenny turned in his arms, ready to kiss him, ready to forget everything except this moment, and found a stranger standing in the suite's living room. No, not a stranger. The woman had Jae-hyun's eyes, his sharp cheekbones, his presence that commanded attention without trying. Ji-woo, Jae-hyun said, surprise and something else, wariness, coloring his voice. What are you doing here? The woman smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Hello, Appa. Surprise visit. Her gaze shifted to Jenny, assessing and cold. And you must be the American. We need to talk. We need to talk were possibly the 4 worst words in the English language, especially when spoken by your boyfriend's sister who appeared in your hotel suite uninvited and looked at you like you were a problem to solve. Ji-woo, this isn't. Jae-hyun started. A good time? I know. That's why I'm here. Ji-woo's smile was all politeness and zero warmth. I wanted to meet the woman who's managed to distract my brother from his responsibilities. Jenny felt Jae-hyun tense behind her. That's unfair. Is it? You missed our Sunday dinner. First time in 6 years. Ji-woo's gaze never left Jenny. Must be quite the distraction. Okay, so this was happening. Jenny stepped forward, extending her hand. I'm Jennifer. Jenny. It's nice to finally meet you. Jae-hyun's mentioned. That I exist? How generous of him. Ji-woo ignored the offered hand. Appa, can you give us a moment? Woman to woman. Absolutely not. I'm not asking. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. 5 minutes. Surely you trust me with your girlfriend for 5 minutes. The word girlfriend sounded like an insult the way she said it. Jae-hyun looked at Jenny, clearly torn. She managed a smile that probably looked more confident than she felt. It's fine, she said. 5 minutes. Jenny, I can handle this. Probably. Maybe. God, she hoped so. Jae-hyun squeezed her hand once before leaving, but not before giving his sister a look that promised consequences if this went badly. The door closed behind him with a final click. Silence stretched between them. So, Ji-woo said, settling onto the suite's pristine white couch like she owned it. You're sleeping with my brother. Jenny nearly choked on air. We're in a relationship. It's not just. Relax. I'm not judging. I'm simply establishing facts. She crossed her legs, all elegant composure. Fact, you've worked for him for 3 years. Fact, you handle his financial operations. Fact, somewhere along the way, you became more than an employee. Is there a question in there? Several. But let's start with the obvious one. What do you want from him? I don't want anything from him. Everyone wants something from Park Jae-hyun. Money, power, protection, status. Ji-woo tilted her head. Which is it for you? Anger flared hot in Jenny's chest. I want him. Just him. Not his money or his empire or whatever else you think I'm after. How romantic. And naive. Ji-woo's expression didn't change. Do you have any idea what being with him actually means? The targets it puts on your back? The choices you'll have to make? The things you'll have to accept? I know what he does. I've always known. Knowing intellectually and living it are very different things. She leaned forward slightly. My brother has enemies. Dangerous ones. People who would love nothing more than to find a weakness they could exploit. And you, Jennifer? You're the most obvious weakness he's had in years. The words hit like physical blows. I can handle myself. Can you? Tell me, have you ever held a gun? Looked someone in the eye knowing they want you dead? Made a decision that cost lives? Ji-woo's smile turned sharp. My brother lives in that world every day. Can you honestly say you're prepared for that? Jenny's throat went dry. Because no, she wasn't prepared. How could anyone be prepared for that? I love him, she said quietly. Isn't that enough? Love. Ji-woo laughed, the sound cold and cutting. Love doesn't stop bullets. It doesn't prevent betrayal. It doesn't protect you when his enemies come calling. And they will come, Jennifer. Eventually, they always do. Then I'll deal with it when it happens. Will you? Or will you run the moment things get too real? Too dangerous? Too messy? She stood, moving closer. I've watched women come and go from my brother's life. They always leave. Because loving Park Jae-hyun is easy from a distance. Living with the reality of who he is, that's when they realize the cost is too high. I'm not them. Prove it. The challenge hung in the air between them. Before Jenny could respond, the suite door opened. Jae-hyun walked back in, tension radiating from every line of his body. 5 minutes are up, he said, voice dangerously calm. Ji-woo smiled at her brother with genuine warmth that hadn't been there seconds ago. We were just getting acquainted. Your girlfriend is quite interesting. Ji-woo. I'm leaving, but Appa. She switched to Korean, speaking rapidly. Jenny caught maybe 3 words, none of them reassuring. Whatever she said made Jae-hyun's jaw tighten. Get out. Love you too, Appa. Ji-woo headed for the door, pausing beside Jenny. 3 days in Singapore. Let's see if you're still here when they're over. Then she was gone. Silence filled the suite. I'm sorry, Jae-hyun said finally. She had no right. It's fine. It wasn't fine. Jenny felt like she'd been emotionally filleted. She's protective. I get it. She was cruel. She was honest. Jenny sank onto the couch Ji-woo had vacated. And she's not wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know if I can handle this. Don't know if. Her phone exploded with notifications. The group chat. Of course. Maya. How's Singapore? Have you seen the inside of the hotel room or just the bedroom? Winky face. Hey, one him away. Let her breathe. Chioma, check-in time. You alive? Happy? Need extraction? Maya. Did you meet anyone important? How's it going with his people? Jenny stared at the messages, feeling tears prick her eyes. Because yes, she'd met someone important, and it had gone about as badly as possible. Her fingers moved before her brain caught up. Jenny. Emergency. Need video call. Now. 3 dots appeared immediately. Maya. Oh shit. Give us 5 minutes. Jae-hyun read over her shoulder. Your friends? They're worried. I told them I'd check in. She looked up at him. Do you mind if I? Of course not. Take your time. He kissed her forehead. I'll give you privacy. Need to make some calls anyway. After he left, Jenny pulled out her laptop, and within minutes, 3 familiar faces filled the screen. Okay, spill. Maya said immediately. What happened? I met his sister. All 3 friends leaned closer to their cameras. And Chioma prompted. And she basically told me I'm a liability. That I can't handle his world. That I'll run when things get too real. Jenny's voice cracked. What if she's right? She's not right. Hae-won said firmly. You don't know that. We know you. Maya's expression softened. Jenny, you've spent 3 years in his world already. You've handled things that would have broken most people. You're still standing. But that was different. That was just work. This is love. This is love. Chioma's lawyer voice came out. And love is terrifying whether you're dating a mafia boss or an accountant. The fear doesn't change. Just the circumstances. She said I'd leave. That they all leave eventually. Are you planning to leave? Hae-won asked gently. Jenny thought about Jae-hyun's nightmares. His rare smiles. The way he held her like she was something precious. No. Then screw what his sister thinks. Maya grinned. You've got 3 days to show her exactly who Jennifer Lawrence is. Time to remind everyone why you're the woman who walked into a mafia boss's office and refused to be intimidated. Despite everything, Jenny smiled. I love you guys. We love you too. Now go get your man and have the romantic Singapore trip you deserve. After you update us on everything, Chioma added. Detailed updates. I want to know if those shoulders are as good as they look. Chioma. What? I'm in London. Let me live vicariously. Jenny laughed, feeling some of the tension ease from her shoulders. This was what she needed. Her friends. Her support system. The reminder that whatever happened, she wasn't alone. After ending the call, she went looking for Jae-hyun. Found him on the suite's balcony, phone pressed to his ear, speaking in low, urgent Korean. She caught fragments, a woman's voice on the other end, smooth and professional. The moment Jae-hyun noticed Jenny, he switched mid-sentence. I'll call you back. He ended the call immediately, turning to face her with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Feel better? Jenny's stomach twisted. The abrupt end to his call. The woman's voice. The way his expression had shifted the second he saw her. Who was that? The question came out before she could stop it. Work. Nothing important. He pocketed his phone, reaching for her. How are your friends? Supportive. Concerned. The usual. She let him pull her close, trying to ignore the unease curling in her chest. Are you sure everything's okay? You seem tense. Just handling some logistics for tomorrow's meetings. His hand traced circles on her lower back. Nothing for you to worry about. Jenny wanted to believe him. She did believe him. This was Jae-hyun, the man who'd been honest about everything, his past, his business, his feelings. He wouldn't lie to her, right? But Ji-woo's words echoed in her mind. People who would love to find a weakness they could exploit. Stop it. She was being paranoid. Let one hostile conversation with his sister mess with her head. Jae-hyun had given her no reason to doubt him, except for the way he'd ended that call the second she appeared. The careful neutrality in his expression. The deflection when she'd asked about it. Jenny. His voice pulled her from spiraling thoughts. You're overthinking again. Am I? Yes. He cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. It was a work call. That's all. I promise. She searched his expression for any sign of deception. Found none. Just concern and something that looked like guilt. Okay, she said softly. I believe you. He kissed her then, slow and thorough, like he was trying to erase her doubts with touch alone. And maybe it worked. Or maybe Jenny just wanted it to work badly enough that she ignored the small voice in her head whispering that something felt off. Because loving Park Jae-hyun meant choosing to trust him. Even when trust felt terrifying. Even when his sister's warnings still rang in her ears. Even when her instincts screamed that she was missing something important. She'd figure it out later. Right now, she just wanted to be held by the man she loved and pretend Singapore was as simple as they'd planned. But nothing with Jae-hyun was ever simple. And Jenny was starting to realize that was exactly what his sister had been warning her about. Hey besties, if you were Jenny, would you stay and prove Ji-woo wrong? Or would you walk away before things get messy, eh? Let me know in the comments how you'd handle being in Jenny's position right now. Drop your answer in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see where you all stand. And if you're Team Jenny, hit that like button and subscribe because this trip is about to get even more complicated. Let's get back to the amazing story. Morning in Singapore came with golden light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and Jae-hyun's arm wrapped around her waist. Jenny woke to find him already awake, watching her with that intense gaze that still made her stomach flip. Creepy, she mumbled, voice rough with sleep. Beautiful, he corrected, brushing hair from her face. It's too early for you to be this charming. It's 10 a.m. Jenny bolted upright. What? Why didn't you wake me? Because you needed sleep. And because watching you drool on my expensive pillowcase was entertaining. I do not drool. She definitely drooled. Don't you have meetings? Postpone them. He pulled her back down against his chest. Today is about us. No work. No interruptions. No hostile sisters ambushing us. You can't just postpone business meetings. I'm Park Jae-hyun. I can do whatever I want. His hand traced lazy patterns on her shoulder. And what I want is to spend the day with my girlfriend. Show her Singapore. Make up for yesterday's disaster. Girlfriend. The word still sent butterflies through her stomach. What did you have in mind? His smile turned wicked. I have a few ideas. 2 hours later, Jenny found herself at Gardens by the Bay, surrounded by impossible vertical gardens and futuristic structures that looked like something from a sci-fi movie. This is insane, she breathed, staring up at this super tree grove. Wait until tonight. They do a light show. Jae-hyun's hand found hers, fingers interlacing naturally. There's a sky bridge. Want to go up? Is this where you tell me you're afraid of heights? I'm not afraid of anything. Everyone's afraid of something. He looked at her then, expression turning serious. I'm afraid of losing you. The admission hung between them, raw and honest. You're not going to lose me, Jenny said softly. Ji-woo thinks I will. Your sister doesn't get a vote in our relationship. She's protective. seen me hurt before. He started walking toward the sky bridge. There was someone. 5 years ago. She worked for a rival organization. Used me to get information. Nearly destroyed everything I'd built. Jenny's chest tightened. Jae-hyun. I'm not comparing you to her. But Ji-woo is. In her mind, any woman close to me is a potential threat. They reached the bridge, started climbing. She doesn't understand that you're different. How am I different? Because you've had access to my operations for 3 years and never once tried to leverage it. You've seen the worst parts of my world and stayed anyway. You know what I am and you're still here. He stopped at the top of the bridge, pulling her close. That's how you're different. Singapore spread beneath them, glittering and alive. Jenny leaned against the railing, feeling the height and the moment and the weight of everything unsaid between them. Last night, she started carefully. That phone call was my assistant, Minji, handling a logistics issue with the shipment I was supposed to oversee today. He turned her to face him. I should have explained instead of brushing you off. I'm not used to answering to anyone. I'm not asking you to answer to me. Just communicate. Let me in. I'm trying. This is new for me. All of it. His thumb traced her jawline. But I want to get better at it. For you. For us, she corrected. For us. He kissed her then, soft and sweet, and Jenny felt her doubts from last night dissolve in the Singapore sun. They spent the afternoon exploring the city like normal tourists. Ate street food that Jae-hyun claimed would expand her palate, but mostly just made her reach for water. Wandered through markets where he bought her a silk scarf she didn't need, but secretly loved. Took selfies that would definitely never see the light of day because Park Jae-hyun did not do social media. This is weird, Jenny said as they walked through Chinatown. What is this? Us. Being normal. You bought me street food and took a selfie. That's like boyfriend behavior. I am your boyfriend. I know, but you're also a crime lord. It's confusing. He laughed. I contain multitudes. Did you just quote Walt Whitman? I told you. I'm well read. Okay, Mr. Multitudes. What's next on this romantic agenda? His expression turned heated. Dinner. Then I'm taking you back to the suite and showing you exactly how romantic I can be. Heat pooled in Jenny's stomach. Is that a threat or a promise? Both. Dinner was at a rooftop restaurant overlooking Marina Bay, the kind of place where the menu was in French. Jenny had changed into a dress she'd packed specifically for this. Deep emerald green, fitted, making her feel sexy and confident. The way Jae-hyun looked at her when she walked out of the bedroom made every penny spent on that dress worth it. You're staring, she said, settling across from him at their private table. You're stunning. You clean up pretty well yourself. Understatement. He wore all black, slacks, button down, jacket that emphasized his shoulders. Unfairly attractive. This view is incredible. I'm not looking at the view. Jenny's face heated. Smooth. Just honest. He reached across the table, taking her hand. Jenny, I want you to know, whatever Ji-woo said yesterday, whatever doubts she planted. Can we not talk about your sister right now? I'd rather focus on this. Us. This moment. Agreed. He lifted his wine glass. To Singapore. To us. To moments that matter. She clinked her glass against his, feeling the weight and promise of those words. They talked through dinner about everything and nothing. He told her about growing up in Seoul, the pressure of inheriting his father's organization, the first time he realized he'd become the man everyone feared. She talked about Atlanta, her mother's expectations, the relief of escaping to Seoul and becoming someone new. Do you miss it? He asked. America. Home. Sometimes. But Seoul feels like home now. You feel like home. Something shifted in his expression. Soft and vulnerable in a way she rarely saw. I've never been anyone's home before. Well, you're now. Get used to it. When they returned to the suite, Jae-hyun pulled her close the moment the door closed. I've been wanting to do this all day, he murmured against her neck. What, kiss me? You've kissed me like 6 times today. Not like this. He walked her backward toward the bedroom, hands sliding down her sides. Not the way I really want to. Jenny's breath caught. And how do you really want to? Let me show you. What followed was slow and intense and absolutely perfect. Jae-hyun took his time, worshipping every inch of her like she was something sacred. Whispered things in Korean she didn't understand but felt in her bones. Made her feel cherished and desired and completely his. Later, wrapped in expensive sheets with Singapore's lights glowing through the windows, Jenny felt more content than she'd been in years. That was, she started, amazing, incredible, life-changing. Jae-hyun's smug smile was audible. I was going to say adequate. He tickled her in retaliation. She shrieked, laughing, trying to escape. They ended up tangled together, breathless and happy. Adequate, he muttered. I'll show you adequate. Please don't. I need recovery time. I'm not 22 anymore. You're 24.
Exactly.
Ancient. He kissed her temple. You're perfect. Jenny snuggled closer, feeling sleep pull at her. Jae-hyun.
And
I'm glad I'm here.
with you.
Despite everything. His arms tightened around her. Me too. She drifted off feeling safe and loved and completely unprepared for what tomorrow would bring. Because across the city, Jiwoo sat in her own penthouse, making a call that would test everything Jenny thought she knew about loving Park Jae-hyun. It's time, Jiwoo said into the phone. Let's see if she's really as strong as she claims. Day 2 in Singapore started with a text that made Jenny's stomach drop. Unknown number. Park Jiwoo has invited you to brunch. 11 a.m. Raffles Hotel.
Come alone.
She stared at the message, still half asleep, Jae-hyun's arm heavy across her waist. What's wrong? His voice was rough with sleep. Your sister wants to have brunch. With me. Alone. Jae-hyun sat up immediately, reaching for the phone. Read the message. His jaw tightened. You're not going. I kind of have to. No, you don't. Jiwoo doesn't get to summon you like. Like what? Like she's important to you? Like her opinion matters? Jenny turned to face him. She's your sister, Jae-hyun. I can't just ignore her. She's testing you. I know. So let me pass the test. She kissed him softly. I can handle one brunch with your sister. That's what people say right before disasters happen. Dramatic much? You haven't seen Jiwoo in full strategic mode. She's terrifying. But he sighed, accepting defeat.
Fine.
But I'm having you followed. Security at a distance. That's totally normal and not at all overprotective. It's non-negotiable. 2 hours later, Jenny sat in Raffles Hotel's elegant dining room, feeling severely underdressed despite her best effort. Jiwoo was already there, looking like she'd stepped out of a fashion magazine. Cream silk blouse, tailored pants. Jennifer, you came. Jiwoo's smile was polite and utterly unreadable. Please sit. Jenny sat, feeling like she was walking into an ambush. Thank you for the invitation. Of course. I thought we should talk.
Properly.
Without my brother hovering. Jiwoo poured tea with practiced elegance. How are you finding Singapore? It's beautiful. Jae-hyun's been showing me around. I'm sure he has. My brother can be quite charming when he wants something. The barb landed exactly as intended. He's not trying to get anything from me, Jenny said evenly. We're together because we want to be. How refreshing. Young love. Jiwoo sipped her tea. Tell me, Jennifer, what do you know about our family? About how Jae-hyun became who he is?
Some.
He's told me about your father. Has he told you about our mother? Jenny's stomach twisted. Jae-hyun never mentioned his mother.
No.
She left when I was 5. Couldn't handle the violence, the lifestyle, the constant fear. She chose safety over family. Ji-woo's expression remained neutral, but something flickered in her eyes. She died 3 years later, alone, miserable, filled with regret. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm simply providing context. Because you need to understand something, Jennifer. The women who love the park men have 2 choices, adapt or leave. There's no middle ground, no halfway commitment. You're either all in, accepting everything that comes with this life, or you run. And running, she paused. Running destroys everyone involved. I'm not running. Not yet. But you've been here 2 days. Faced one uncomfortable conversation with me. You haven't seen the real darkness yet. Ji-woo leaned forward slightly. Let me paint you a picture. 3 years ago, my brother's accountant was kidnapped, tortured for information. They sent us his fingers one at a time. Jae-hyun had to make a choice. Give the rivals what they wanted, or let his employee die. Do you know what he chose? Jenny's mouth went dry. What? He chose to find the people responsible and make an example of them. His accountant died, but his killers died worse. Much worse. Ji-woo's voice never wavered. That's who my brother is. That's what this world demands. Can you accept that? Can you sleep next to him at night, knowing what he's capable of? Yes. The answer came without hesitation. Because I also know he visits children's hospitals anonymously, supports education programs in underserved communities, protects people who can't protect themselves. He's more than just the violence. How noble. But the violence is real, Jennifer. And eventually, it touches everyone he loves. His last serious girlfriend, the one I mentioned to him, she betrayed him, yes. But do you know why? Because she saw what he did to someone who crossed him and realized she'd never be safe. That even love couldn't protect her from who he really was. I'm not her.
No.
You're different. More naive, perhaps. Or more stubborn. Ji-woo signaled for the waiter. I've arranged something. A test, if you will. What kind of test? The kind that shows me if you truly understand what you've signed up for. She checked her watch. In approximately 10 minutes, someone will approach this table. Someone from my brother's past. Someone who represents the consequences of loving a man like Park Jae-hyun. How you handle that encounter will tell me everything I need to know. Panic fluttered in Jenny's chest. What are you talking about? Relax. You're not in danger. This is simply educational. Ji-woo's smile turned sharp. Welcome to the family business, Jennifer. Let's see how you handle it. Before Jenny could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from the group chat. Maya, how's brunch with the sister from hell? Chioma, if you need extraction, use the code word pineapple. Hey one, stay strong. You've got this. Despite everything, Jenny almost laughed. Her friends, even thousands of miles away, they had her back. Jenny, currently being tested by his sister. Send reinforcements. Or wine. Preferably both. Maya, what kind of test? Jenny, no idea. But apparently someone's about to show up and I don't even know. Chioma, do not let her intimidate you. You're Jennifer Lawrence. You walked into a Mafia boss's office and refused to back down. Channel that energy. Maya, also remember you're dating possibly the hottest Korean man alive. That's power. Hey one. Maya, focus. Jenny pocketed her phone, squaring her shoulders. Whatever Ji-woo had planned, she'd handle it. She'd survived 3 years in Jae-hyun's organization, navigated financial operations that would have sent most people running, fell in love with a man everyone said was untouchable. She could survive one brunch. The restaurant door opened. A woman walked in, early 30s, stunningly beautiful, wearing confidence like armor. She headed straight for their table. Ji-woo, the woman said, voice warm and familiar. It's been too long. Yuna. Thank you for coming. Ji-woo gestured to Jenny. This is Jennifer Lawrence, Jae-hyun's current girlfriend.
Current.
The word stung. Yuna's eyes widened slightly.
Oh.
I didn't realize Jae-hyun was seeing anyone. It's recent, Ji-woo said. Jennifer, this is Song Yuna. She and my brother were engaged 5 years ago. The world tilted sideways. Engaged. Jae-hyun had been engaged. And he never mentioned it. Never thought to tell her that he'd almost married someone else. Yuna slid into the empty chair, studying Jenny with open curiosity. So, you're the one who finally caught his attention. I have to admit, I'm surprised. Jae-hyun swore he'd never get serious about anyone again after. She stopped, glancing at Ji-woo. After you left him at the altar? Ji-woo supplied helpfully. Jenny felt like she was drowning. This was the test. Not some vague threat or hypothetical scenario. This. Confronting the woman who'd almost become Jae-hyun's wife. The woman who'd walked away. I didn't leave him at the altar, Yuna corrected gently. I left 3 months before the wedding, when I realized I couldn't live with what he did, who he was. She looked at Jenny. Has he told you what happened? Why I left?
No.
Jenny's voice came out steadier than she felt. He's mentioned someone hurt him, but not the details. Of course he hasn't. Jae-hyun doesn't talk about it. Doesn't talk about the night I witnessed him. Yuna stopped again, shaking her head. I'm sorry. This isn't fair to you. You seem nice, but you need to know what you're getting into. I know what he is.
Do you?
Do you know what it's like to watch the man you love hurt someone? To see that coldness in his eyes and realize you're looking at a stranger? To understand that the gentle man who reads you poetry is the same man who can end lives without hesitation. Yuna's voice softened. I loved Jae-hyun.
Truly.
But love wasn't enough. Not when faced with the reality of who he had to be. Ji-woo watched this exchange like someone watching a chess match, calculating moves and countermoves. Jenny's hands trembled. She forced them still. I appreciate your concern, she said carefully. But Jae-hyun and I are different. Our relationship is different. And with all due respect, what happened between you two has nothing to do with us. Doesn't it? Ji-woo interjected. You're both foreign women, both initially attracted to the charming, cultured side of my brother, both unprepared for the reality of his world. History has a way of repeating itself, Jennifer. Then I'll make different history. The words hung in the air. Yuna smiled slightly. You're braver than I was. Or more foolish. I haven't decided which.
She stood.
Good luck, Jennifer. You'll need it. After she left, silence stretched between Jenny and Ji-woo. Well, Ji-woo finally said, how do you feel? Like you just ambushed me with information that should have come from Jae-hyun. Perhaps. But now you know. Now you understand what you're up against. Not just the danger of his world, but the weight of his past. The ghosts of relationships that failed because love wasn't enough.
She leaned back.
My brother cares about you. I can see that. But caring isn't the same as forever. And forever with Park Jae-hyun requires more strength than most people possess. Jenny stood, pride the only thing keeping her upright. Thank you for brunch. And for the history lesson. But next time you want to test me, maybe just ask Jae-hyun to do it. At least he fights fair. She walked out with her head high, dignity intact. Made it to the street before her hands started shaking. Her phone rang immediately. Jae-hyun. Don't answer it, she whispered to herself. Not yet. Not until you can breathe. But her finger hit accept anyway. Jenny. His voice was tight with concern. My security said you left early. What happened? Why didn't you tell me you were engaged? Silence. Jenny. 5 years ago. Song Yuna. Your sister just introduced us. Thought I should meet the woman who left you because she couldn't handle your world. Her voice cracked. Were you ever going to tell me?
Yes.
When the timing was right. When what? When I was in too deep to run. When it was too late to have doubts. Tears burned her eyes. I deserve to know, Jae-hyun. Before I fell in love with you. Before I came to Singapore. Before everything. You're right. I should have told you. I was going to. He sighed heavily. I didn't want you to see me through the lens of someone else's fear. Someone else's failure. Well, now I do. Thanks to your sister and her twisted version of a family intervention. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. I need space. Time to think. Jenny, please. She hung up, stood on a Singapore street corner, thousands of miles from home, wondering if loving Park Jae-hyun was the bravest thing she'd ever done, or the most foolish she's ever been. Real talk, besties. Would you forgive someone for hiding a whole engagement from you? Or is that a deal breaker no matter how much you love them? Doesn't that mean there could be more he's hiding and relationships built on lies are doomed to crash sooner or later? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments because I need to know where you draw the line. Hit that like button if you've ever been blindsided by someone's past and subscribe to see if Jenny and Jae-hyun can survive this. Let's continue the amazing story. Jenny spent 2 hours walking Singapore streets in a daze. Marina Bay, Clark Way, places that should have been beautiful but felt empty without him beside her. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Jae-hyun, please let me explain. Jae-hyun, I know I should have told you. Jae-hyun, just tell me where you are. We can talk. Jae-hyun, Jenny, please. And from the group chat, Maya, update US. What happened? Chioma, if he hurt you, I'm booking a flight right now. Hey-won, we're worried.
Please say something.
Jenny's fingers hovered over the keyboard. How did she explain this? That the man she loved had an entire failed engagement in his past he'd never mentioned? That his sister orchestrated an ambush to prove Jenny wasn't strong enough? That she was standing in the middle of Singapore questioning everything? Jenny, he was engaged. 5 years ago. Never told me. His sister introduced me to his ex-fiancé as a test. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then her phone rang. FaceTime. All 3 friends on screen. Okay, first of all, Maya said without preamble. His sister is psychotic. Secondly, Chioma added, him not mentioning an ex-fiancé is bad. But let's get context. Why did they break up? She couldn't handle his world. Left him 3 months before the wedding. Haewon winced.
Oh.
So he's probably traumatized, and that's why he didn't tell you. That doesn't make it okay. Jenny's voice broke. I deserve to know. Before I fell in love with him. Tears spilled over. What if I can't handle it either? What if I'm just like her? What if? Stop. Maya's voice cut through the spiral. Listen to me. Are you planning to leave him? I don't know. Yes, you do. Are you leaving? Jenny thought about Jae-hyun's nightmares. His rare smiles. The way he held her like she was precious. The poetry and the violence and the complicated, messy reality of loving him. No, she whispered. I'm not leaving. Then that's your answer. You're not like his ex. You're stronger. You've already proven that by staying this long. By loving him despite everything. Chioma's lawyer voice came out. But you do need to talk to him. Set boundaries. Make it clear that honesty is non-negotiable going forward. And maybe punch his sister, Maya suggested. Just once. For emotional damages. Despite everything, Jenny laughed. I love you guys. We love you too. Now go get your man and have the hard conversation. Then have amazing makeup sex and tell us all about it. Maya.
What?
I'm invested in this relationship. After ending the call, Jenny took a deep breath and texted Jaehyun. Jenny, where are you? The response was immediate. Jaehyun sweet. Waiting. Please come back. The ride back to Marina Bay Sands felt like the longest of her life. Her key card trembled as she opened the suite door. Jaehyun stood by the windows, exactly where she'd left him hours ago. He turned when she entered, expression raw with emotion she'd never seen before. I'm sorry, he said immediately. I should have told you about Yuna, about what happened. I have no excuse except that I was a coward. You're many things, Jaehyun, but a coward isn't one of them. I was afraid. He moved closer but didn't touch her, like he wasn't sure he had the right anymore. Afraid that if you knew someone else left because they couldn't handle me, you'd realize you couldn't either. Afraid of losing you before I really had you. So you just didn't tell me? Hoped I'd never find out. I was going to tell you. This trip, actually. I had a whole plan. Dinner tomorrow night. Full honesty about my past, about Yuna, about why I'm so terrified of this. He ran a hand through his hair. Ji-woo just forced my hand in the cruelest way possible. Why did Yuna leave? Jaehyun's jaw tightened. She witnessed me handle a betrayal. Someone in my organization sold information to rivals. People died because of it. I made an example of the traitor. Yuna saw more than she should have, more than she could live with. What did she see?
Me. The real me.
The part that's capable of terrible things without hesitation or remorse. The part that frightens even me sometimes. His voice went quiet. She looked at me like I was a monster. And maybe I am. Jenny crossed to him, took his face in both hands, forced him to meet her eyes. You're not a monster. You're a man who does monstrous things sometimes. There's a difference. Is there?
Yes.
Because monsters don't have nightmares. They don't visit children's hospitals. They don't quote Maya Angelou or collect Basquiat paintings or fall in love with financial analysts who ask too many questions. She kissed him softly. You're complicated and broken and sometimes terrifying, but you're also mine, and I'm not going anywhere. Even knowing what you know now. Especially knowing what I know now. She rested her forehead against his. But Jaehyun, if we're going to do this, really do this, I need complete honesty. No more secrets. No more protecting me from your past or your present. I need all of you or none of you. Choose. All of me. No hesitation. Everything. Even the ugly parts. Good. Because I'm giving you all of me too. The anxious parts. The insecure parts. The parts that get jealous over assistants named Minji and Spiral when your sister plays mind games. She smiled slightly. We're both messy. Might as well be messy together. He kissed her then, deep and desperate and full of promise. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed something into her hand.
A key.
What's this?
Jenny asked.
To my penthouse in Seoul. I want you to move in with me. Her heart stopped. Jaehyun. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring this out. But I don't want to waste any more time pretending I can live without you. I want you in my space. In my life. Completely. His thumb traced her jaw. I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. I want messy and complicated and real. With you. Only you. Tears blurred her vision. Your sister is going to hate this. My sister can deal with it. This is my life. My choice. And I choose you. Okay. Okay, I'll move in with you. But on one condition. Anything. Sunday dinners with Ji-woo. Every week. Until she accepts me or we die trying. Jaehyun laughed. The sound pure and unguarded. You're either incredibly brave or completely insane. Probably both. but you're stuck with me now. Thank God for that. They spent the rest of the evening talking, really talking, about Yuna and the wedding that never happened, about his father and the organization he'd inherited, about her dreams and fears, and what building a life together actually meant. It wasn't pretty, wasn't easy, but it was honest, raw, real. And when they finally made it to bed, wrapped around each other with Singapore's lights glowing through the windows, Jenny felt something shift into place. This wasn't a fairy tale, wasn't some romantic drama where love conquered all. This was real life, messy and complicated, and sometimes terrifying. But it was theirs. And that was enough. The next morning, Jenny woke to find Jae-hyun already up, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. When he noticed her awake, he smiled and switched to English. I'll call you back, Jiwoo. He hung up. Your sister?
Jenny asked.
Apologizing. In her own way, which mostly involved admitting she may have been too aggressive in her vetting process. He settled back into bed beside her. She wants to have dinner tonight. All three of us. No ambushes. No tests. Just family. Do you believe her? Not even a little bit. But I think she's trying. He kissed her temple. And you did promise Sunday dinners. Might as well start early. That evening, they met Jiwoo at a private dining room in one of Singapore's finest restaurants. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Until Jiwoo spoke. I owe you an apology, Jennifer. My methods were cruel, calculated to break you. And instead, you proved exactly what my brother sees in you. Strength I didn't expect. Loyalty I didn't anticipate. Love I didn't think was possible for someone like him. She poured wine with steady hands. I still have reservations, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. If you're willing to prove me wrong. Jenny raised her glass. Challenge accepted. They drank,
Talked.
argued about politics, and laughed about Jae-hyun's terrible singing voice and slowly, carefully, began building something that might eventually resemble family. It wasn't perfect, wasn't easy, but it was a start. On the flight back to Seoul, Jenny leaned against Jae-hyun's shoulder, feeling the weight and promise of the key in her pocket. What are you thinking? He asked. That I accidentally forgot to hang up a phone call and somehow ended up with you. That's either the best mistake I've ever made or the craziest. Probably both. Definitely both. She tilted her face up to kiss him, but I wouldn't change it. Any of it. Not even the psychotic sister? Especially not the psychotic sister. She keeps things interesting. 3 months later, Jenny moved into Jae-hyun's penthouse. Her friends helped her pack, crying and celebrating in equal measure. I can't believe you're moving in with a literal crime boss, Maya said, taping up another box. I can't believe she's making us help, Chioma added. Shouldn't he have people for this?
He does.
I told them no. This feels more real this way. Haewon hugged her tight. You're really doing this. Living your K-drama life. It's messier than K-dramas.
But yeah.
I'm really doing this. That night, Jenny stood in Jae-hyun's, their penthouse, surrounded by boxes and possibility. Welcome home, he said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Home. Such a simple word for something so complicated. But looking out at Seoul's lights, feeling his heartbeat against her back, Jenny knew she was exactly where she belonged. She'd forgotten to hang up a phone call and change her entire life. Best accident ever. From an accidental confession to moving in together, Jenny and Jae-hyun's love story proves that sometimes the best relationships are the ones that we don't go searching for and the ones that challenge us to grow. Now I want to hear from you. What was the moment you knew they were going to make it? Was it when she stood up to Jiwoo? When he gave her the key? When they chose honesty over hiding? Drop your answer in the comments. The end. Or is it? If you loved this Afro-Korean love story, Make sure you're subscribed because there are more stories coming that'll make you laugh, cry, and believe in impossible love. Hit that like button, tell me which city you're watching from, and let me know what kind of story you want to see next. Thanks for being part of this community. See you in the next one or part 3. Let me know in the comments if you're invested in their love story.